the second half of the season is where a team's overall season is either made or it's broken, and in the Premier League this year that is especially applicable in the relegation battle. And for me, this has got to be one of relegation battles where there's been the most teams in it for a long time. In my opinion, you can go straight from bottom of the league, which is currently Southampton, all the way up to 12th, which is currently Crystal Palace. I can make a case for all of those teams to survive, or any of them could just get relegated, in my opinion. Aston Villa are sort of just avoiding that, and a couple of these teams could overtake Aston Villa, but Aston Villa, in my opinion, not near getting relegated, but the teams below them are. So, first up, let's look at this. You've got Palace, Forest, Leicester, Leeds, West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth, Everton and Southampton. Those are the 8 teams I think all, unfortunately for them, have a chance of going down this season. So, let's look at the teams that I'm putting in a safe category, which is going to be from 12th to 14th, and I think 2 of those teams will be Leicester and West Ham in the 12th and 13th spots, and I think it's just because they've simply got too much quality in the squad. We've seen those teams finish high up before, and I think eventually that quality and experience has to come good and will keep them up in the end. Then joining them in 14th is actually one that I think might shock quite a few people. It's actually Nottingham Forest. I mean, this transfer window, they've been criticised for signing yet again quite a few players, but I feel like they've also done everything right. If they can get John Joe Shelby fit, he could be a pretty good player for them. And also with Keylor Navas coming in to replace Dean Henderson, who's injured, they've somehow got a much better keeper, and honestly don't know how they pulled that deal off. That is an absolute masterstroke of a transfer from Nottingham Forest. And I just think under Steve Cooper, that team is finally starting to click, and they're going to pull off a good few results and end up finishing 14th. So in my next category, it's for just safe, and this is 15th and 16th. And for me, the team that are going to finish 15th is actually Wolves. I think Lopetegui so far, he's had a transfer window now. He's sort of revamped the team entirely. I feel like he's got his vision finally starting to take place in the club. Daniel Podence has been really good recently, and I think he will be a key factor in them staying up. And I just think because Wolves, they are typically solid at the back, I still think they've got a bit of that about them. I think they'll give them enough to finish quite high up compared to how they started and manage to get a 15th spot position. Next up then, in 16th, I would go for Southampton actually. Now that is a shocking one. I feel like this might be influenced because of one of my teachers is a Southampton fan, but on deadline day, they signed Sulemana and Onuachu, 2 strikers, and from my teacher, I could just see how buzzing they were, and I feel like that's the atmosphere around Southampton at the moment, and that positivity is only going to make it more likely they survive over other clubs. 2 strikers, definitely what they needed. So I think Southampton, they've been unlucky this season. They have created quite a few chances, but Shad Adams up front, he just couldn't finish at all, could he? Honestly, couldn't hit a barn door. They would have been better off chucking a bag of cement up front. Anyway, they brought in 2 strikers, 1 tall target man, 1 a bit smaller, a bit faster player. I think that would be a great combo. Mislav Orsic as well, brilliant player on the wing. If he comes good, then they should definitely survive because he is a quality player. And James Ward-Prowse scoring free kicks, obviously he's single-handedly won them pretty much every point they've won this season so far. So that is clearly where a lot of their danger is going to come from. And I think in a young team, they've had half the experience in the Prem. Still probably not experienced enough, but I think just with the players they've got, they should have enough to stay up, and the positivity around the club with their recent new owners as well, it should be enough for them to actually climb quite high and finish 16th, considering they are currently 20th. Next up then, in my just scraping survival team, it's going to be Leeds United. And this is because under Jesse Marsh at the moment, although they've got players I absolutely love like Wilfred Gnonto and Somerville, I just don't see them going in the right direction currently, and it could easily slip into a really, really poor finish to the season. I don't think they'll get relegated, but it could be really, really close. Next up then, my team to finish 18th, and it's actually the one team of all of these that's the highest up currently, Crystal Palace, who currently sit in 12th. And since the World Cup restart, I haven't seen anything from them that shows they could survive. I mean, they have brought in Albert Sambi-Lokonga, who could be good. They also got another midfielder, I can't remember who, and they definitely did need a midfielder to help out Decore in there. And it will be good for them, but I'm not sure it will be enough. And with Zaha injured, he's their main man. They do have quality like Eze and Elise, but neither of them have too much experience in the Prem. And although I do love the Eze and Elise link up, I'm not sure it will be enough to keep them up, because without Zaha, I see them really lacking goals, and they haven't been as solid as at the back as they usually are. So Crystal Palace, I can really see slipping far down the table, and apologies to Palace fans that it is harsh, because I do like the project under Vieira, but I just can't see anything from them for surviving now. Next up, in 19th place, is going to be Bournemouth, and although they've tried to do a bit this transfer window, no real proven Premier League experience, and I think that lack of experience will kill them. And I think once they start going on a bad run of results like we've seen recently, they're just not going to be able to win a game again. And I have liked Bournemouth in the first half of the season, but now they started losing, I'm not sure there's too much hope for them. Finally then, my 20th place team. This is probably a bit of bias because I'm a Liverpool fan, but I've gone for Everton, and just for me personally, they're no hopers this season. I know they're technically not bottom of the league, but I just haven't seen anything exciting from them at all. Now they've sold Anthony Gordon as well. He was meant to be their main man. I don't think they've really replaced him, and although they've got Sean Dyche in, who is a defensive expert, he should stop them conceding. I really don't see them scoring either, and I'm not sure the players they've got, like Calvert-Lewin, like Iwobi, I'm not sure they're the type of players that really suit Sean Dyche, and I can see it all imploding really. So Everton, for me, they're going to finish bottom of the league. There's definitely a bit of bias in there, but I really do think that they're a struggling team, and maybe the reset in the Championship could be good for them. Anyway, that is my predictions for who's going to get relegated in the Premier League. I feel like the biggest shock in there is probably Palace. Tell me what you thought of that one, especially, and if your club's in here, do you think it's fair where I put them? And if not, well done for not being awful. Thanks for watching.